A Northeast Ohio teacher turned his grief into a selfless gift. How the loss of his daughter led him to save a stranger's life and the bond that grew from it. Lindsay Buckingham has their remarkable story.
Dan O'Connor and Carrie Shultz are liver buddies forever.
And the scars are really cool. So.
His are, I mean, we even lifted our shirts and compared scars.
They have a lot in common.
So a teacher saved a teacher.
But to understand how they got here, let's go back to the summer of 2024, when Dan's daughter Morgan came into this world.
Soon after being born, she got something called an enterovirus, and it caused acute liver failure.
Morgan needed a liver transplant. Dan volunteered, but it wouldn't take. That's when he called his sister.
And she said, yeah. And then she just told everybody at work, I'm leaving, I'll be back in a few months.
At just 9 days old, Morgan received part of her aunt's liver. Sadly, too many complications followed.
So she died when she was 7 weeks old.
That inspired Dan to do something in his baby girl's honor.
Because I couldn't do anything for Morgan, but I was like, there's somebody out there who needs this.
That person was 55-year-old Connie Shultz, who had no idea she was even sick.
I remember they pulled my husband and I aside and they said, so you have cirrhosis of the liver.
Her condition worsened. The waiting game was agonizing until she got the call.
Took the phone and it was Annie, my coordinator then, and she said, we have a liver.
Thanks to Dan's selfless act. On July 23rd, Dan and Carrie went into surgery at the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Alejandro Pita led the transplant team.
To be in that position of needing a liver transplant and not knowing when that's going to happen or how it's going to happen, it's a very difficult process.
But seeing the outcome is the greatest reward. That happened for Carrie and Dan this past January.
Oh, I immediately cried, and I remember having to stand on my tiptoes to hug him.
One of the things that I kind of didn't expect was just that your whole family would be there. That was really unexpected and pretty overwhelming.
Carrie says there are two people to thank for saving her life, Dan and his little angel.
Morgan's daddy saved my life. It's not just a liver from Dan, it's Morgan's daddy. The fact that you were willing to sacrifice your life to give life is immeasurable, and there are no words for that. Thank you is not enough, except that I promise I'm going to do my best with it.
The gift of life that, because of Morgan, continues to grow.
I mean, I wanted it to mean something that, she was here. I wouldn't have done this if she hadn't been here. So since she was, this can be something that she's contributing to the world.
Lindsay Buckingham, 3 News.
Wow. You can share your own Heartstrings stories with our team. Just email heartstrings@wkyc.com. And don't forget, if you like to see more of these stories like these, you can catch Heartstrings every weekday at 9 a.m. on our WKYC Plus app.